Hello people, welcome to Makeup on Point. I am Christy, and how are you lovelies doing today? I am still very sleepy from my insomnia the last few days, which is kind of very fitting for the movie we're actually going to be talking about today. A movie that actually has a rule that we are actually not allowed to talk about it. We're just going to break the rule anyways. We are going to be discussing Fight Club today. And in Fight Club style makeup wise, I am actually going to become Marla Singer in this video today. So, be interesting. Starting off with not even doing my hair today. And it's going to be a challenge later on, but keep watching and you'll see what's about to go on. See you in the next slide. Alright, so we're back. My brows are on. And today, instead of starting with my eyes, we're going to start with foundation just because, and you'll find out why the eyes will come later. Yeah. Using Beauty Bakerie foundation. Yeah, okay. Why am I awkward today? What is wrong with me? So, Fight Club. Let's start from the beginning. Let's start as far back as the creation of the idea of the book Fight Club by author Chuck Palahniuk. So Chuck Palahniuk came up with the idea for the book Fight Club based on a camping trip he went on, where essentially the idea got beaten into him. Let me explain. So he went on a camping trip one weekend, and there were some noisy campers nearby. So he went to them and to politely ask, like, hey, can you just lower the volume of your radio? It's just quite loud. They didn't like to hear his little complaint or suggestion or just him asking them to, quiet it down. So they beat the crap out of him. When he went back to work after his camping trip, none of his co-workers bothered to ask him, what happened to you? Because, he got beaten up, so he's got all these bruises and probably cuts and, because again, he got the crap beat out of him. And none of his co-workers wanted to acknowledge it. They just went along casually as like asking just how was your weekend? That's it. Noticing this, I guess, societal blocking, he concluded that a degree of personal interaction would have to happen for his co-workers to actually ask him what happened. And because that personal interaction would have to be necessary to actually find out what happened to him, they just didn't care enough to ask or connect with him on that personal level. So upon that happening, that really fascinated him that people are really like that, which I'm sure we've all experienced that to some degree of like, minding our own business, just want to go along with our day. But with a degree like this, where you literally see someone with bruises, like something really bad happens to them, and you're just like, you don't want to, nope, we're not talking about it. That really fascinated him and sparked him to start writing the book Fight Club. I'm gonna start right now. If you have not seen Fight Club, obviously major spoilers ahead. Before I go any further talking about this, I need you to watch the movie if you have not watched it. So, go watch the movie, come back, I'll see you then. As I was saying, so he started writing the book, and upon writing the book, he actually did not originally put the two and two together to write that the narrator and Tyler Durden, the major twist in the whole book and movie, that they are the same person. Actually came to that idea way later into writing the book, because since he noticed both characters as he was writing it were doing the exact same thing together constantly, there was no point or time where they were apart doing different things. So he came to the idea that like they're actually the same person, and he finished writing the story that way. Probably one of the best plot twists in book and movie history, which is why the movie's such a cult classic now. It's my favorite movie of all time. So he wrote the book, and the book was published in 1996. Upon the galley proof versions of the book, and to explain that, the galley proof of a soon to be published book, the galley proof is an advanced preliminary version of a soon to be published book. That's like the versions to like proofread and like add suggestions into it before you like send it out to stores and whatnot. So while it was still in that phase, so a book scout took the galley proof and they actually sent it to a creative executive, Kevin McCormick, and he actually sent it out for other readers to review it, to make it into a movie, and it was actually discouraged and rejected a few times. And Kevin McCormick felt like this movie it had to be made, and he's like, with all these people, he's like, maybe if I just arranged it, worked on it, and like recorded, he created, like, I guess in adapting it to make it into films, he recorded a short script dialogue and eventually sent that recording to a woman named Laura Ziskin, who was the head of Fox 2000 at the time. She loved it, and she ended up purchasing the rights for Fight Club from the author, Chuck Palahniuk, and she bought the rights for $10,000. That's a nice paycheck right there. Now, from that point, Laura Ziskin considered Buck Henry to write the film adaptation, since he did so well adapting The Graduate for the movie screen. Since she felt both stories were of coming of age films and seemed similar, so she thought he would be best to do the job. However, other producers chose a new screenwriter named Jim Ulls to do it instead. Now from that point, you gotta choose a director, and they had a lot of big top choices for directors. They actually had 4 top choices for directors. Ooh, they're actually very hefty, and the directors that they wanted, the first director they really wanted was, Peter Jackson. That guy that did The Lord of the Rings. He was the first choice that they wanted to do Fight Club. However, he was too busy working on his movie The Frighteners, so that was a done deal. The next choice for director was Bryan Singer, who is now known for the movie Usual Suspects and X-Men. And he was sent the book. However, he never read it, so that was scrapped. Next, Danny Boyle was also an idea to direct Fight Club. However, by the way, Danny Boyle, known today for, Trainspotting, 28 Days Later, Slumdog Billionaire, 127 Hours. He read the book, but he chose a different film path. So, another one on the chopping block. So then that leaves us to our winner, David Fincher. Now, David Fincher read the book, and he actually wanted to buy the rights to the book himself. Obviously, Laura already got to it, so he expressed that he did want to direct Fight Club. However, he was very hesitant in wanting to direct it for that studio due to his unpleasant experience directing the film Alien 3 for them. So, to repair that relationship, he met up with Laura Ziskin and who else? And the studio had Bill Mechanic at the time, and they talked it out, and it was announced on August of 1997 that David Fincher will be directing the film Fight Club. Now we got a director. Let's get to how we got our cast. Let's start with probably the most standout character of Fight Club, which is Tyler Durden. Now, before Brad Pitt was obviously cast for the movie, Russell Crowe was actually the first choice to play Tyler Durden, and he was the first one in talks. However, one producer met up with Brad Pitt, felt he was perfect, and he believed Fight Club would be more commercially commercially successful with Brad Pitt in the movie. With a major star like Brad Pitt signed on, Brad Pitt got the role and signed on to receive $17.5 million to play Tyler Durden. Let's get into the narrator. Originally, the studio wanted Matt Damon because they were desiring a sexier marquee name for the movie. They also thought Sean Penn would probably be a good choice for the narrator. However, David Fincher saw Edward Norton in the movie The People vs. Larry Flint, and that was it. He became the top consideration, and well, they worked really hard to get Edward Norton. However, Edward Norton at the time was dealing with his own negotiations and having issues with other contractual obligations, and had to just work out because he was also, Edward Norton at the time was also considering many other roles other than Fight Club. He was big in his career. So after some talks and some working out, Edward Norton signed on to be the narrator for $2.5 million. You know, the world of acting, everyone gets paid very differently, as we see. Then we get to the casting of Marla Singer. Oh, our trashy Marla Singer. So, Janine Garfallo was the first choice, actually, from David Fincher. It is rumored that she actually objected the role due to the sexual content of the movie, but she was dropped since Edward Norton felt she was wrong for the part. Now, who knew an actor can have such a say in the movie he's in? But for Fight Club, Brad Pitt and Edward Norton had a big hand in the making of that movie. He even helped with the script. But back to the casting of Marla Singer. So they also thought of Courtney Love for the role and Winona Ryder. The studio even wanted Reese Witherspoon for the role. However, David Fincher felt that Reese Witherspoon was a little too young for the role. So, upon seeing Helena Bonham Carter in the movie The Wings of the Dove, David Fincher cast her instead, and it was a done deal. So we are gonna roughly contour, since Marla doesn't seem the type to really care to be correct or take her patience with her makeup, which is the fun fact in that, because Helena Bonham Carter thought that Marla Singer isn't the person that would be particularly skilled or concerned with correctly applying her makeup, that's why she told her makeup artist Julie Pierce to apply her makeup with her left hand. Now, with me saying that fact is the reason why I'm doing my eyeshadow after my foundation this time, because I'm going to try to do my eyeshadow with my left hand, because my left hand is not my dominant hand, and I don't know how I'm going to do this. We're going to make it work. So, let's carry on. Let's talk. Fight Club was an interesting set to be on, especially for a lot of scenes that Brad Pitt and Edward Norton were in a lot. Like the scene where Brad Pitt and Edward Norton are golfing. It's a very quick scene that, like, it's quick like that. They're just golfing outside the house. They were actually very drunk doing that scene, like really drunk, and all those golf balls were directly hitting the catering truck. Yeah, it was an interesting set to work on. It was a lot of, pretty much, I guess, the attitude of Fight Club that you see in the movie of like not giving, kind of quickly got into the actors as well. Yeah, that must have been fun. Poor catering truck. I just realized I have to do my makeup with my left hand. So to do my eyeshadow today, I'm actually going to be using the Ace Beauty Quintessential palette. Looks a little something like this. It is a great palette. I don't know where that accent came from. But I'm gonna aim for smoky eye because that seems appropriate for Marla Singer. And with my left hand, let's try. So, I don't even know how to hold it. Wait. No. Alright, we're just gonna try. How do I? Okay, alright. Back to fun facts as I'm struggling to. I don't even know how to hold the mirror. Okay. Alright, so how do I do this? This feels so wrong. Let's talk about the bar scene with Brad Pitt and Edward Norton. Now the bar scene, oh my god. The bar scene took 38 shots to film. And that bar scene is the first outing you see fully of Tyler Durden and Edward. And most of that scene was actually kind of improvised and ad-libbed by Edward Norton and Brad Pitt. More Brad Pitt than Edward Norton. So like David Fincher would just kind of like he'll kind of just throw an idea at them, and they had some lines, but for the majority of it, it was just off the cuff improv. For one specific part of the bar scene, oh god, wait, how do I? Oh god, why did this feels so wrong? How am I supposed to tell facts if I can't even hold my? How do I? Okay, I'm literally holding my elbow to do this. What is wrong with me? So, in the scene where Brad Pitt as Edward Norton's character to hit him, Edward Norton actually hit Brad Pitt because he wasn't originally going to do that until David Fincher was like, I need you to really hit him. Yeah? Yes. I need you to hit him right in the ear. Alright. So Edward Norton really punched Brad Pitt in the ear, and that reaction from Brad Pitt is a genuine reaction.
Mother, you hit me in the ear.
I mean, it would take me off guard too. Now another part, this looks so bad, but that's okay. I am Marla Singer. You are Marla Singer. You can do this with your left hand. So later on, there's a scene with Brad Pitt after, you know, having relations with Marla Singer in that room where you hear the loud sounds. And there's a scene where Edward Norton is listening through the door, and Brad Pitt comes out, and he has a yellow rubber glove. God only knows what you did with that glove. That rubber glove was completely Brad Pitt's idea to wear for the scene. And the producer, Laura Ziskin, you know, the one that bought the rights and got this going, she was completely horrified by that scene. Completely horrified. She's like, dear God. So she originally wanted to take that part out and wanted that glove gone. But upon test audiences getting a kick out of it, laughing hysterically, she kind of had to go with her audience and keep that in. Speaking more of the, I'm gonna call it the relations of Tyler and Marla.
Relations.
Brad Pitt and Helena Bonham Carter actually had to spend 3 days recording all those orgasmic sounds for the unseen relations scenes that you saw. That must have been a fun 3 days, just making sounds. And what's even really impressive was how they shot the scene. I'm gonna put my brush down because I really need to explain how cool that scene was actually and how they made it. So that actual relation scene was shot using the same bullet time technique as The Matrix. To accomplish that shot where they literally go around, I can't show the scene because, you know, censorship. So it's the scene where they show Tyler and Marla doing relations, and it's like slow-mo going around the bed. Now to film that in the way that The Matrix did their bullet scene, how they do it is they take the the initial where, like, say the bed is, and they set up still cameras all around the bed, and they set up in a circle, and each camera would take single shots in sequence, and then these single shot frames were then edited together and enhanced with CG, as both Brad Pitt and Helena Bonham Carter were actually fully clothed in motion capture suits during the shoot, and there were actual body doubles as well to you know, fill in the pieces and the gaps in all those lovely positions for the
Relations.
where actually come from the Kama Sutra book. They actually use 10 different positions for that whole relations scene. So we have a few more fun facts about the movie as I finish this eye, and then I just want to have a little chat about all the hints and clues to the plot twist of the movie. We can do this. Come on. Black eye shadow. So it actually took 138 days to film Fight Club and took over 300 scenes to shoot and 200 locations and 72 sets, and all the production designs were done by a guy named Alex McDowell. He is also known for designing sets for Minority Report, Man of Steel, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Watchmen, and The Crow. Oh, love The Crow. And makeup artist Rob Bottin, who was in charge of creating the suit for Meatloaf's character Bob in the film, had to build 2 different fat suits for him. One with nipples and one without. Filmmakers weren't sure if the studio would approve of the nipples. Oh no. Now, I mean, I don't know what movie had problems with nipples before that turned on them. I don't know how it got this bad. I don't know. It's like I don't even care anymore. Okay, so what I'm not gonna do is use my eyelash curler with my left hand and put on mascara, because I like to keep my eyes. Okay, so mascara has been put on. I don't think Marla's makeup was this bad, to be honest with you. So yeah, let's talk about all the hints that lead up to the twist, because Fight Club is honestly one of the smartest mind-twisting movies I've ever watched. I think that's why it's my favorite, because I've watched it many times. I've watched that movie on repeat so many times for so many years, and with every watch you seem to find more hints, and like once you know the end that Tyler Durden and the narrator are the same exact person, as you watch the movie after learning that fact, you kind of pick up on more like hints and clues. Let's start from the beginning. Starts off even with something I didn't pick up before. Now, I knew about the flashes of like Tyler Durden popping up in random scenes from like behind the doctor, and he was just popping up as flashes in Edward Norton's like view of things. But right before that happens, they talk about how the narrator is he's not sleeping and stuff, but there's a scene when he's watching TV. If you look close in the TV, he's watching a commercial, and if you pay close attention, pause it, and you can actually see Brad Pitt in the commercial. Your mind can't always just create, like, you know how like in dreams you can't see faces unless you've actually seen these faces in real life. Your mind in dreams can't create a face. I think the character of Tyler Durden, that was a good, like, it plays on the psychology of that. So Edward Norton's character saw Brad Pitt's image in a commercial, which now, with his insomnia, turned into his imaginary friend in his head, to now this is the image of Tyler Durden. Even after he meets Tyler Durden in the airplane, they have the same suitcases. A thing I picked up on it was there's a scene also when they're living together, and Tyler Durden and the narrator are having a conversation in the bathroom while Tyler's in the bathtub, and they're talking about their dads. Tyler Durden was talking about dads and his issue with his dad and his memories of his dad, and the narrator keeps saying like he relates to it so much because the stories are so similar of their dads. And now you think back on that they're both the same person. He's literally having a conversation with himself about his dad. The next part is after one of the fight clubs that the narrator has to go to the hospital and I guess get stitches, and the nurse is, I guess, asking him questions like, how did this happen? And if you notice, Tyler Durden answers for him first to tell the narrator to say, so you fell down the stairs or something around that. But she doesn't react to Tyler Durden. She only reacts to the narrator saying it after Tyler Durden says it. Now when Marla gets into the house, you start picking up, other than that Marla and Tyler are never in the same room together, a major point in the Tyler-Marla relationship as it relates to the narrator is Tyler continues telling the narrator that he's not allowed to talk about him to Marla ever. Like, that's their deal. Whatever they do, you can never discuss Tyler to Marla. And that's a big thing because obviously if the narrator ever mentions Tyler's name, it gives up Tyler Durden. That's it. The jig is up. And Tyler essentially just is trying to just take full control of the narrator's body. Marla and the narrator are fighting in the kitchen. And this is in the movie about an hour and 26 minutes in. And she wants to talk about us. Marla wants to talk about them and their relationship, her and the narrator. And that's when Tyler all of a sudden wants to pull the narrator away from that. He gives a distraction the moment Marla's like, well, let's talk about us. And the narrator's like, what about us? And then he's like, do you hear that? Because Tyler's making sounds in the basement to pull him away, because again, if they actually talk about Tyler, the whole jig is up for Tyler. You see, like, Tyler's feeding the narrator at that point everything he should say to Marla to keep the secret, like, just to keep the secret, where he word by word controls what the narrator is saying. It says this conversation is done, slowly taking full bodily control, that he's no longer being this figment in his mind. He's literally taking over his entire body. That's essentially why the first rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club. Because if anyone really talks about it and then talks about it with the narrator, the jig completely goes up. These quick little mind things that happen throughout the movie. And that's why I just think it's so smart. It's just such a smart psychological movie. And the next thing, which is now, this is the scene where Tyler essentially takes full control. And it's the scene where they're getting into the car and they're driving with two Fight Club members in the back seat, and Tyler and the narrator in the front seats, the passenger and the driver's seat. Tyler, the whole conversation of them fighting in the front seat, and the narrator keeps telling the Fight Club members in the back to keep shutting up, it's not about them. And they just look confused because essentially they're literally watching the narrator having a conversation with himself. He's literally having an argument with himself. He is talking to himself. So when you look at that, and then it's again symbolic, because now Tyler Durden is literally asking him, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? Like, do you want to die? Do you want this? Do you want that? And then he lets go of the wheel. Tyler lets go of the wheel, and the narrator holds on to it. It's like, no, what are you doing? And Tyler's literally telling him, like, let go. You need to stop trying to take hold and control things so much. You need to let go. It's really Tyler telling him in his mind, I need you to let go of all control that you're in. And then they get into the car accident, and if you pay close attention, the narrator isn't being pulled out of the passenger side. He's being pulled out of the driver's side of the car. And it's at that moment everything changes, because the car accident that they had, obviously in the narrator's head, he was asleep in recovery that whole time. But obviously so much happens. This is literally the turning point of the movie. The narrator gave up full control of everything and has given it to Tyler at that moment. From that point on, Tyler took full control for days. Who knows how much time he took. Because remember, every time the narrator sleeps, Tyler is in action and takes full body control and is up and getting things done. So during that time, Tyler takes full control, and the moment the narrator wakes up, he disappears. Disappears instantly. You don't see Tyler until the narrator figures out in his phone call with Marla that she calls him Tyler Durden, because to Marla, the narrator's name is Tyler Durden. And that's when everything just goes mind blown. I know there's certain hints that I haven't said, but they literally show it all in the narrator remembering everything that he's done, as because it even says when he thinks he's watching, there's parts where he thinks he's watching Tyler, and there's parts where it's just him. So you don't know what's what, and you're always going to keep guessing throughout the movie who's doing what at that moment. It's just such a great movie. I think I understand now why Marla wears sunglasses a lot of the time in the movie. This is probably the worst makeup I've ever done. And I just want to keep these sunglasses on now because it became so bad. So I hope you enjoyed this video, this whirlwind of a video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. Maybe share it with some friends. Subscribe, you know, if you want to keep up with any video that comes after this. All the makeup I use in this video will be in the description box below, along with the links, you know, learn and help our world, find ways to help out. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything else you know about Fight Club that I didn't mention in this video. Also, any suggestions of any TV and movie shows you would like to learn about in upcoming videos. Let me know in the comments below. Again, be kind to others, love yourself, stay safe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.